our dear viewers. Welcome to CHRICED TV. I am Falilat Adamu. On the Original Peoples show today, we take you to Abuja, where culture met advocacy in a colorful and symbolic rally. It was a gathering like no other, as the original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory came together to mark the 2025 United Nations International Day of the World Indigenous People. With vibrant displays of tradition, music, and dance, this event was more than just a celebration. It was a bold statement of identity, heritage, and resilience. Let's take you there as Princess Aniana completes the report.
Nagairi, happy International Day. Nagairi, happy International Day.
A symbolic cultural rally took center stage in Abuja as original inhabitants of the Federal Capital Territory converged to celebrate the 2025 United Nations International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples. This was no ordinary get-together. It was a powerful display of identity, heritage, and advocacy.
The Colourful Indigenous People of FCT. The Colourful Indigenous People.
858 communities, predating the FCT's modern master plan, 9 major tribes and 17 chiefdoms were fully represented here, alongside associates and well-wishers. The Colourful celebration, themed Celebrating Identity, Preserving Heritage, transformed the city into a vibrant cultural arena. From Amuamua to Basa, Ebira to Gade, Gana Gana to Bagi, Bari to Gwandara, and Koro, parades and energetic performances showcased the rich cultural steps and textile of Abuja's indigenous people. And the cultural glamour, the message was clear: land restitution, fair compensation, political inclusion, and economic empowerment remain the top priorities for Abuja original inhabitants.
We need to elect our governor. We need to elect our House of Rep. There should be another way that our issue can be addressed in such a way that a recommendation made during the time of Obasanjo, which they should have a FCC and FCS. The FCC will take care of the Federal Capital Territory, while the FCS will take care of the Federal Capital State, which will be governed by the indigenous people by themselves, and they run their affairs, their administrative structure, so that they can be able to elect their governors.
Leading this advocacy is Comrade Dr. Ibrahim Zikirullahi, Executive Director of CHRICED, fondly regarded as the adopted son of the indigenous communities for his untiring support.
The intent is to ensure that their culture is completely erased. But there are ways you can do it without necessarily be on the streets, and your voice will resonate with the world. And that is when we initiated this, bringing the 9 tribes together. Let them come. Nobody can tell you not to sing your song. Nobody can say don't dance your dance. So this kind of event attracts the interest of many people. Those that ordinarily we didn't even know what is going on in Abuja have begin to understand, and they have also seen that they are going about their struggle in a peaceful manner. And so, whether the government like it or not, it's just a matter of time.
The MacArthur Foundation also called for strategic action. Its Africa Director, Dr. Koli Shetima, urged the natives to use the upcoming elections in 2027 to press home their demands.
As we are getting ready for 2027 elections, it seems to me that the Executive Secretary, the Executive Director of CHRICED has outlined an agenda for what we should be demanding for in terms of being members of this community. I think he has put forward 3 key issues. One is the issue of land restitution, which is critical and very important. The second point he pointed about political inclusion, to see how, as we are also struggling for representation of women in our National Assembly and others, how do we also raise political representation as issue? And the last and critical issue is around economic empowerment through targeted investments, education, and job creation. I hope that these 3 agenda items will represent your views, your perspectives as we march toward 2027.
Local delicacies, arts, and crafts added flavor to the event, portraying historical narratives and deep-rooted traditions. Besides, discussions at the earlier media colloquium on the 8th August 2025 reinforced the Abuja Original Inhabitants' demands. Scholars, traditional leaders, and policy makers proposed solutions, including the establishment of an Abuja Heritage Center, a 1.3 billion naira project in partnership with the University of Abuja.
I want to also inform this gathering that the Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, in support of the Abuja Original Inhabitants, we are on the verge of signing partnership with the University of Abuja to establish Abuja Native Heritage Center. The center is going to cost 1.3 billion naira, and already we have secured over 400 million naira from the MacArthur Foundation to start the first phase of it. And the center is to preserve your history and traditions. So to tell you that nobody can ever erase your history. You have come to stay.
The concept of indigenous population is something that is very dear to our hearts. The 11,000 hectares land we are having is inhabited by a very large population of the indigenous population of the FCT. And because of that, in October 2023, we established a dedicated research and training center for the indigenous population. In fact, the center is one of the co-organizers of this particular meeting. The mandate of the center is to not just educate, but to train particularly the indigenous population of the FCT, raise their capacity so that they can compete in the modern world.
In all, a key speaker described the treatment of original inhabitants as disheartening, urging policy implementation and unity among indigenous elites.
Over the years, the federal government has been doing things that are disservice to humanity, something that are creating dispossession of indigenous people of FCT. We cannot continue with this. If the federal government understands the conflict management mechanism through which we can integrate and make the indigenous people of FCT to feel better, then the right things need to be done. The systematic marginalization of indigenous people in FCT by the federal government needs to come to an end by making sure that federal capital territory is treated like every other state in terms of political inclusion. What we need is to ensure that the global practice in the implementation of resettlement policy must be carried out for the indigenous people of FCT, and there must be a comprehensive and inclusive policy implementation that will erase, eliminate this historical injustice perpetrated against the indigenous people of FCT.
The event also featured spoken word performances using poetry and music to promote cultural pride and resistance against extinction.
It is time to write not as Northerners or Southerners. It is time to write not as Easterners or Westerners. It is time to manifest what our coat of arms stands for. It is time to let that people soar and let it show its dignity. It is time for the horses to run and let it show its strength. It is time for us to sing the national anthem, recite the national prayer in our diverse languages and different forms that we may understand this true meaning. So tomorrow, when I see my children, our children, living in a peaceful and happy Nigeria, I will smile, knowing that I conquered. You conquered, because our children will feel, see, and touch the evidence of our victory. Remember, if you fight, you will get the Nigeria you deserve.
Traditional rulers and their spouses joined the advocacy.
The truth is that the people are not happy. They are aggrieved and are living in anger. The people are not happy with the system which makes them half Nigerians. They are half Nigerians, always treated like second-class citizens in their own ancestral home.
Most of the people that are on the receiving end, mostly the women, and even the children, economic development and economic empowerment not available, marginalization done. So, but we as the women and mothers, what we try to do is we try to informally continue to educate our children on doing what is right.
On behalf of His Royal Highness, the Chairman Council of Traditional Rulers, Dr. Adamu Baba Yunusa, to wish you well and continue to encourage you to champion the cause of the growth and development and recognition, very importantly, of the original inhabitants of the territory.
There is also a call for historical monuments at strategic points in Abuja to correct the wrong narrative that the city was once a virgin land.
So it is important that they sit down together, articulate a plan. The FCT is blessed with natural resources. There's also opportunity for them to negotiate the kind of development that will come to them with the people who are extracting those resources. So we found that a lot of these people don't know that these are the low-hanging fruits that they can use to push, for whatever they need. For instance, going to the federal government to say, okay, this is our land. We need something significant at the city gates that we tell people that this land belongs to, just like when you are going into Lagos, you see the ayo, the greeting they are bringing. You can have a colorful picture of the 9 tribes at the city gate. Somebody is coming and say, this is the land of the original inhabitants of the FCT made up of this tribe.
Panelists, including educationists and activists, echoed the same sentiment: justice, recognition, and preservation of cultural heritage are long overdue.
Only asking for is a laudable voice. VOICE, voice. That is what we need for the people of FCT, original inhabitants. until I leave here, I will keep saying that what we require for the FCT people in response to many questions that may likely come is nothing more than a good voice.
Without education, we cannot be able to voice out. Without education, we cannot be able to lead others. Without education, we cannot get to anywhere. And because of that, I want to appreciate the young ones that are out today. My joy is that we are not leaving our culture behind. My joy is that we are out to tell the whole world that we have a culture, we have a people that have common traditions, that have common aspirations, and that are really willing to work together as a people.
I think we should start with one voice. It is not about relocation, it is about integration. What makes you better than an ethnicity? We are all human beings. Why are you taking me far away? Where are you taking me to? Before we all belong to Niger, Kogi, Plateau, Nasarawa, now we have been carved out as FCT. Give us that identity and don't push us away. Keep us in one place. We remain here. Integrate us in the development process, not the issue of resettlement anymore.
From the Center of Human Rights and Civic Education, we have supported the indigenous to advocate. You should have a state of your own. A state where you can elect your own governor, as other states of Nigeria has the opportunity to also elect their own governor. You should have representatives, people that can speak for you, just like Honorable Tanito said, can speak for you at the National Assembly, equal number with the same states in other parts of the country. The people of the indigenous of FCT should enjoy minimum standard of living and development in the area of health care, in the area of infrastructural development, in the area of education. These are very critical aspects. This is the way we can bridge this inequality gap between our host community and the Federal Capital Territory.
With the emergence of the Federal Capital Territory threatening the survival of local languages, the original inhabitants of Abuja, both young and old, used the cultural rally as a platform to advocate for the preservation of their dialects and prevent its extinction.
daga tizu bala mula su barka ganna na je su World Indigenous Daily Abuja nuna jira gaba daya na
ai basa kuma na gandu kuma mun jigoje ta biye ai waga celebration na original inhabitants na FCT
Abuja inago maraba be forlani imanago murnae ayemi ejima agana timi inago amisam nabu kube nabu ni washilafia.
Beyond spoken communication, the original inhabitants also use their dialects in music, ranging from traditional songs for the young and old to modern hip-hop tracks as a way to preserve historical narratives. To Dr. Shetima, CHRICED has shown capability and reliability, which explains the consistent support from MacArthur Foundation.
Because they are doing the good work, I think that the work that is being done is excellent and good, and they have been able to bring together many members of the community to work together. And I think that what we always want is a host that is able to attract everybody and not to undermine any group in the place. So that's why we're very excited as to what is happening here.
CHRICED in turn thanked MacArthur for his trust and confidence, noting the support has sustained its advocacy work.
To our partners, the MacArthur Foundation and allies, we thank you for your solidarity. To our traditional leaders, your stewardship preserves the dignity of our heritage. And to the youth of FCT indigenous communities, may you rise with courage, creativity and ambition to shape a future where your identity is not just acknowledged, but celebrated and respected.
A federal lawmaker also praised CHRICED and partners for promoting the cultural heritage of Abuja Original Inhabitants, pledging support for future editions.
I'm pledging a total commitment to the cause of indigenous people. Because of the indigenous people, the first bill that I brought in the National Assembly was Original Inhabitants Resettlement and Compensation Agency, which has passed first reading, and immediately we are back, the second reading also will be read. And because of the indigenous people, I took federal character to court for shortchanging us in the allocation of employment in Nigeria. And I promise you that next year, even if others do not come to support this project, I will be on the ground to support this project from the beginning and from the end, and to make sure that we mobilize our people to come out, so that the people in our city, both the government and the residents, will understand original inhabitants is here.
The rally combined funfair with purpose, blending spirited cultural displays with a strong call for equity and justice.
The Coro Indigenous People of FCT.
As the rally come to an end, and original inhabitants of Abuja gear up for next year's World Indigenous Day, they send a clear message. Their heritage will endure and their voices will remain unshaken.
Wow, what a powerful display of culture and tradition there. For the original inhabitants of Abuja, the message is crystal clear. Their history cannot be erased. Their heritage will not fade, and their voices will continue to echo until justice is served. Thank you for staying with us on CHRICED TV. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Falilat Adamu. Until next time, keep celebrating identity and preserving heritage.